Well, hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Benelli with the Reiki Lifestyle Podcast, as you know, and I'm really excited to have just a very long time colleague, um, Kimmy Ali, and Akleema Ali. So I know you go by both Akleema and Kimmy. So just say hi. We've known each other for a very long time, so I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today.
Hi, Colleen. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm excited you're here. It'll be fun to have a conversation and really get to just catch up. So,
Most definitely.
all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just talk a little bit about you for you. Akleema Ali is the owner of the Reiki Lighthouse in Trinidad and Tobago, providing a sacred space for grounding, emotional healing, and inner peace. She's a Usui, Karuna, Holy Fire Reiki Master, Animal Reiki Practitioner, Reiki Drumming Practitioner, and more. And actually, she has a lot more, but we were just talking about that feels like, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. So, anyway, she's originally a mental health researcher. She has numerous published studies on depression and public health issues. Akleema is also an avid writer, and she's featured in magazines such as Reiki News Magazine and the Energy Healing Magazine. She covers topics like meditation, Reiki, gratitude. And she's also been an executive contributor for Brainz Magazine, speaker at the 2023 Reiki Rays Healing Summit, and awarded the Energy Healing Magazine and recipient of the CREA Global Awards 2024. So Akleema highlights Reiki as a practice for everyone, offering both physical and virtual sessions, classes, and mentorship. So most of all, how do you get a hold of her? So she is the Lighthouse, the Reiki Lighthouse TT.com. Is that accurate, Kimmy?
It's just the Reiki Lighthouse, but the TT comes in with the email.
Okay. All right. So the ReikiLighthouse.com, also on social media, so Instagram and Facebook. So anyway, and of course we'll post all of that. And if there's anything else you want to add, go ahead and add that to it. But let's just start with your story and start wherever you feel called to start.
I think my Reiki story began in 2017, but I just want to backtrack how I discovered Reiki. So in 2015, I had a ovarian cystectomy. I had a large ovarian cyst, about 8 centimeters. It was causing a lot of distress and pain. So I had to have it removed. And that was in December 2015. But after the surgery, I still felt very heavy. I still had a lot of pain in the abdomen. And I just felt as if like my energy was off. I didn't feel centered, I didn't feel grounded. So I actually started to research what would balance my chakras. So I started that research, and at that point in time, I was also doing a lot of reading. I love Louise Hay. I read all of those books, how to heal, you can heal your life. And along my research with respect to balancing chakras, Reiki came up. And I never heard of the word. I didn't know anything about it. And I said I wondered if Reiki existed in Trinidad. And I did a research and I found a couple practitioners on the island. So I said, well, let me give it a try and see if this can make me feel better. So, Colleen, I found this practitioner and I went and I lay down on this table and she's giving me a Reiki session. And I'm still wondering what Reiki is or was, at that point in time. And she did a fantastic job to explain what Reiki was. Sometimes I did feel less dense energy. And in fact, one time I actually had more pain in the abdomen. And at one point in time, she told me, she said, I think you should learn Reiki so you would be able to sit and treat yourself at home. Now, to tell you honestly, I didn't know what Reiki was, and I was totally convinced Reiki was not for me. I said, let me move on to crystal healing. Let me move on to something else. I don't know what Reiki is about. Now, on my journey with me, I have my husband, Ian, and my sister-in-law, Beverly, who is also convinced that Reiki is the way to go. So they are saying, let us consider learning Reiki. So we have two people for Reiki, and I am the one against Reiki. So this is 2017, earlier in 2017, and I had to sit back and think, what do I really need to balance myself or feel more centered? And my sister-in-law hunted on the island for all types of Reiki teachers. And we found one in the south part of the island that she really gravitated towards. And she said, listen, we need to learn this. This is going to increase our frequency, raise our vibration. You know, we're going to learn to heal people. We're going to be great. And my husband was like, Kimmy, we need to go. We need to go and learn this. And I said, no. I said, I don't want to learn Reiki. And they were like, no, you need to come because we need to sit and practice and, you know, feel the energy and we want you to come. So, Colleen, I was literally dragged to a class, the level 1 and 2. I was a very unwilling participant to go to this Reiki level 1 and 2. And I remember I was also upset because at that point in time, you know, the cost of the tuition, I did not cater for that towards the end of the year in a December month. So I'm like, do we really need to do it now? And they were all, both of them were like, yes, we are going to heal people. Let us go. So I went to this class and it was a very interesting class. It was the same Usui Holy Fire 2. She did Holy Fire 2 at that point in time. It was a fantastic weekend. She took her time. She read through the manual. It was a fantastic class. And at the end of the class, I remember she went to get the evaluation forms. And I sat and I asked Ian, I said, I know we had a fantastic weekend. We have learned Reiki. We are Reiki level 1 and 2 practitioners. I said, but what is it? What is it? And he turned to me and all he said was, I think we need to go home and read through this manual again. So we left feeling really empowered in a kind of mysterious way. And we came home to do our 21-day, you know, the self-Reiki, practice Reiki on yourself for 3 weeks to a month. You go through your detox. And we did that. And it was quite an interesting experience. But somewhere, I felt as if, you know, those first few months in practicing Reiki, I felt as if some type of healing was happening on a level I couldn't explain. So what was happening to me is I was having a lot of things that I thought I repressed. So I've had, you know, I've been in domestic violence relationships. I've had, you know, so many things happen to me. I was getting memories or glimpses of those things. And at first they bothered me. And then I realized they are coming up for a reason. They are coming up because there's something there that I'm trying to hide or repress. and there's something that, that I need to acknowledge or send love to. I always like to view it in that way. Whatever presents in our reality, we need to be able to send it love or make peace with the type of journey that we had. So I can assure you, Colleen, at somewhere along the second or third month of practicing, I told my husband and sister-in-law, we need to do Reiki Master sometime. This would be 2018 now. We need to go and level up and do Reiki Master. And they both told me no. They were no longer interested. Colleen, they had moved on to other modalities. They still had Reiki, but they didn't feel the urge to go any further. And honestly, I felt very set up. I felt as if I was being abandoned on my path. And I couldn't understand why they didn't want to pursue Reiki, because it's very healing, it's very calming. And you discover a side to you that you did not know existed. It really does guide you to a different way to approach yourself and approach your life. So at some point in time in 2018, I called back the same teacher, and she actually migrated to the US a long time ago, but she used to visit Trinidad to do classes. And I messaged her and I asked if she was coming back to Trinidad. And she said, if you want to do Reiki Master, I will come back to teach you. Now, the only issue I had was that she lives in the southern part of the island. And even though Trinidad is very small, it will require more than 1 hour drive. So the issue I had was not reaching, but I'm trying to foresee 3 days of Reiki Master training. I would have to drive home in the night. And, I'm not comfortable driving in the night. So I sat and I wondered, I said, I really need to do this class. And she is so far at a physical location. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. So I discussed with her. I said, listen, I said, I want to do the class. I don't know with respect to being safe and, having appropriate transportation. I do think I'll be able to do the drive back home and then do it for the next 2 days. She said, okay. She said, here what? I have an idea. She said, I live very close to a bus station. She said, if you can take the bus and reach to my bus station, I will send a driver to pick you up. And you'll come here and do the class. So, Colleen, sometimes I have to wonder, I am worrying about reaching this class to take this 3-day Reiki Master class. And the teacher gives me such a simple solution. Now, I haven't traveled by bus in years. In years. I have not taken a bus in years, much less to go to a southern part of the island. So, of course, I told Leon, I said, the solution is, I don't have to worry about transport. I just need to find out which bus do I take. And, everything worked out so well. It was just me alone in the class, Colleen. And, I think things are designed that way for a reason. I really felt as if the 3-day class was a sanctuary. It was a real stillness point to reflect and to, really experience a different level of journey and meditation, to put it in that. And all the teacher kept telling me, she said, Kimmy, just be gentle with yourself when you leave. And I think that's the most important thing that Reiki tries to guide us to do. Be very gentle with yourself and be very gentle with the way you approach life and, what life is giving you at that point in time. And it's only when I, quote unquote, came back to reality, I realized I kept repeating her words in my head all the time. Just be gentle with yourself and take the time to integrate whatever new energies or, gift you have received for your way forward. So that would have been in 2018. And let me tell you, anybody who has been attuned to Reiki has an excitement to share. So I was on this excited path to just talk about Reiki, and anybody I met, I wanted to tell them about what I learned, what it does for me. But what I found was people did not share the excitement. It's a one-way excitement, Colleen. It's a one-way excitement. But I was still, I knew what it did for me. I knew what it was doing for me and how it helped me greatly. So I started to look for a space to practice out of. So I took a while to find a space so I could have clients. And it took me a while to find a space. I tried to look for different locations in the island. And I found a really good space. And then the pandemic happened.
Oh,
And the pandemic, as you would know, Colleen, has just threw everybody life in different directions. But for me, I think as if time stopped. Like time didn't exist, as if everything was on pause. So I had to sit and wonder, I am now getting ready to get my business started, receive Reiki clients, and now the pandemic has happened. Where do I go? And I think that was the question for all Reiki practitioners that had a physical practice. And then, of course, William, with his divine wisdom, came to give us different insights and solutions with respect to not only what we needed, but what globally humanity needed. And we needed to adjust, and we also needed to not rush with wherever we think we needed to be. And I think that's always a reminder for me, Colleen, because I always have the vision of helping people. There are people who in lots of types of trauma and distress, and I really do think they would benefit from peace and calm. And I mean, who doesn't need more peace and calm in their lives? I think we all do. And so somewhere along in 2020, I'm always guided to learn more, practice more. And I'm always asking myself, how can I help people more? And I am only envisioning a physical space. And what actually started to happen to me from 2020 to now is I started to be guided with respect to where I needed to be. So at first I got a grand idea. I would like to share my Reiki journey with people. And one night I couldn't sleep in the pandemic. And I got up and I started to write an article. And I never wrote anything before. And I just wanted to share my unique experience because it is truly unique to be attuned to Reiki, to learn Reiki, and then to practice Reiki, especially in the Caribbean. And I did my first article for the Reiki News magazine about my journey with Reiki in the Caribbean. And I think it was even for my family members, it's such a, it's such a touchy ground with them with respect to Reiki. But if it's one thing they receive all my articles with love. They like reading about my journey. They like seeing what I do. So when I started to write from 2020, I realized that just sharing my story was, healing in some form. It was healing to me. And then what I realized, healing was happening to people who read the article, because then I would get an email out of the blue saying, I really love this article. I had the same experience, or this is what took place. And even up to last week, I got an email from someone who read a past article And he was like, it is so inspiring to read, what you do with Reiki. I know, Colleen, sometimes I don't view myself that way because I'm just being me and I'm just really sharing openly and honestly and being as genuine as I can um about my journey with Reiki. And then someone comes along and gives me really, really nice, kind feedback that, maybe they are not brave enough to share. But, for some reason I've been given this gift of writing. And even the gift of writing, to tell you honestly, I didn't see it as a gift at first. So even when I started to write in 2020 about, my relationship with the Holy Fire, and then I moved on to like writing on gratitude. I write on gratitude a lot. I did a 1,000-day gratitude challenge with a group of people, and it was really, that's how we survived the pandemic actually. We did a gratitude group and it ran for 1,000 days, and it really was transforming for everybody in ways we could not predict. And even now, we would always reflect on we don't know how we would have survived if we did not have that gratitude group in the pandemic. So I wrote about different things, but I always still, yearned for the physical space because most of my work is online. A lot of my work, even my Reiki sessions, are online in the virtual world. And I remember last year, I sat in Gasho meditation, and, I'm always sending out little wishes in the universe. I still want this and I still want that. So I'm sitting in Gasho meditation and my eyes are closed. And suddenly, I hear this voice, Colleen, and the voice was, in case you did not realize, you are a writer. And I opened my eyes and I really asked myself, I said, a writer? I said, I mean, I know I write a lot, but I never considered myself a writer, even now. But when I look back, I mean, I know I write. And now I wondered that all the writing that I do benefits all the audiences that I write for. And everything that I do, I imbue everything with Reiki symbols, and I write with so much of love and honesty because I think what Reiki practitioners need, and even teachers, we need spaces to be free and we need spaces to be safe. And writing provides that. Writing provides the freedom for me to express however I feel and what I've encountered in my Reiki journey. And it also gives me, you know, a sense of empowerment that I have no boundaries when it comes to writing. Because I can say what I feel, and Reiki is it creates a very safe space. And I think we need a lot of safe spaces. And I think when other practitioners realize that, to read someone else's journey, maybe they might get inspired with respect to what their safe space should look like. So my safe space is writing, and I don't only write about Reiki. Sometimes I see, I have a partnership with a foundation in Bangladesh that tries to improve literacy for kids in Bangladesh. And Colleen, all they ask for every quarter is a poem. They ask for a poem, and I can do so very easily for them. And they take the poem and they translate it in their language, and they go to villages to try to improve literacy and to encourage kids to go to school. So the thing is, sometimes I think back of the little vision that I have, which was just having a physical space. And if I had gotten that physical space, Colleen, I would not have done all the other things I did, because I only did those things because I did not have a physical space. So I continue to write a lot on health and wellness, on the practices that I do. And one of the things that came up as well, from the pandemic to now, is the use of social media, which I was not comfortable with at all. So, of course, when I remember going into a Reiki share with a colleague, and she said, something with, making videos and putting yourself online came up. And I said, no way.
Right.
I said,
Said
no
by
way.
all of us.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
no.
no, yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
so. Because at that point in time, I had my original Facebook account was deactivated, and I only had that new Facebook account to use so that I can find Reiki practitioners and chat and collaborate. I didn't have any kind of followers, I didn't have any content at all. And when she told me that, she said, I think, the message is pretty strong that that's where you're headed. And Colleen, even if I look now, it's 7 years exactly in December month since I've been attuned to Reiki. If someone told me in 2017, Kimmy, you are going to be a fantastic health and wellness writer, you're going to, you know, get this recognition from Brainz Magazine in Sweden, you're going to be invited by Reiki Rays, you're going to be invited by Reiki Lifestyle, I would say certainly not. That I don't believe any any of those things, because it seems too I don't even know how to get there. Like, what would I need to do to get there? How will I land up in these places and these spaces? But the thing is, I have had all these grand invitations, and I'm really humbled every time someone reaches out and they said, you know, hey Kimmy, we want to invite you to this. Are you available to talk on this conference? And that's one of the things that I want, especially new people to Reiki, or even people who have been practicing Reiki for a long time and sometimes they feel as if they're stuck or they need to move. Reiki is such a magical tool for self-empowerment, because we have the different spiritual or energetic modalities we've learned. We also have academic qualifications. We also know a lot of people in different workspaces. And sometimes, even though I may want to step forward and say, I want to offer only Reiki, what I've learned is that people would like things from us. So, for example, in Bangladesh, they don't want Reiki, but they would love a poem from me. I've been to collaborations where people know I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I did a Reiki talk followed by, an experience. And at the end, they said, we love the Reiki talk, but we don't want the Reiki meditation. And then what I discovered, they wanted more elements of mindfulness, which I was able to do and tailor it to suit them. So sometimes we need to pay attention to what is being presented in our reality. So sometimes I was approached by a group of women to talk to an audience of women concerning trauma and wounds of women. Now, that is not specifically related to Reiki, but of course, we can all, based on our experiences as well as through clients that we meet, talk about the different types of wounds that come up and different types of situations that people need to heal from. So sometimes I know we get discouraged because we want to offer Reiki. Reiki is our excitement, our adrenaline. It does so much for us. But sometimes people need mindfulness. They need empowerment with gratitude practices. They need information on affirmations. They need, depending on the community. So this year, I became a board member for Center for Reiki Research, and it's an amazing organization. As you would know, they are truly fantastic because I think they are trying to really do the ultimate. And it really is, it is, I would say it's, when you say you want to serve a community, it is a true act of service to have people who are undergoing any type of medical care to experience more peace and love and compassion along that journey. Because there are so many, medical ailments and conditions that bring distress, they bring fear, they bring anxiety, and they are trying to, of course, do the scientific clinical aspect of it to merge how can Reiki benefit different types of medical conditions, and they do the research and they tabulate the data. And it really is great to see because I think there are so many avenues where Reiki can benefit people that people need to tune in as to how can I serve people differently? What do I need to do and where do I need to serve? So the past 7 years have been truly magical. They are mysterious, and I really would say, even though I don't fully understand the gift of Reiki, I certainly do love opening it along the way.
So, one of the words that's coming to me through your story is, um, in your original resistance to it, one of the areas that it feels like it healed was your ability to receive. Because the way you describe, the knowing of writing, to me, writing comes through receiving. And how people have reached out to you when you said, I don't even know how to, like, how to make that happen. And I know in my own experience, of course, I've known you a long time, and probably almost the whole 7 years I've been, connected with you, and seen, of course, your social media and your articles and things too. So I wonder if you have any thoughts about that, because I believe that right now the divine feminine is really here teaching us how to receive. And so I wonder if how that just kind of resonates in your thoughts.
Yeah, most definitely, because it's quite interesting because even if I were to think back 7 years ago, and even just last week, I was thinking about along the way when I did, because I also did access bars. Um, I'm an access bars facilitator. And what came up in that course as well as Reiki is that we are so accustomed giving. Women, we give, we plan. We have the checklist of the household chores, financial management. We are always planning for others, but never ourselves. And the act of receiving has been very difficult. So it
Yeah.
started off very difficult. And it does get easier, but sometimes when life presents itself with something that might increase my anxiety, I have to learn how to receive or how to, receive is such a, the word comes up with respect to you finding time for you. You being able just to stop at some point in time in your day and be in touch with that divine presence that runs through you. So, over the past few years, what I started to do, so of course, my practice would have transformed from just doing self Reiki to incorporating Gasho meditation, then incorporating moving meditation. And part of when I do the moving meditation or sit in Gasho, is I always say, which I think will enhance my ability to receive. I said, please put me in line with anything that is in line, in alignment with divine will and purpose. So every time I'm going to write something or I need to collaborate on something, I said, if this is going to bring me in alignment with divine will and purpose, then guide me as to what to do. And with respect to writing, putting me in receiving mode, I would say the writing in itself, it's almost, Colleen, I don't even want to say it's automatic writing, but it's some type of divine download because when I sit to write or to type, and I mean it's typing, the thoughts are flowing continuously. It's just flowing. It's flowing. I don't need to stop and think too much about what this paragraph is about. It just flows. And there are many times after an article has published, and when it's in print and I look at the article, I don't even know how
I
that
totally
article was
agree.
generated.
Oh, I
I
so agree.
yeah, it's a
Like, did
it's
I
a kind of
write that?
yeah, these words are perfect. How did I construct this sentence? This paragraph is amazing. And many times I've had my family members read something or they may read a poem and they said, "Did you write this?" And I said, "I did." And they said it's so heartwarming. It's truly fantastic that you are able to generate, something really amazing because it resonates with them. It touches a part of maybe your heart and your soul. But the act of receiving, what I realize is you need to stop to receive more. And I had a great problem in stopping. I'm always doing, I'm always going, I'm always multitasking. And that's one of the reasons why I love Gasho meditation so much. So when my mind is racing and I get up on a morning and I sit right in the couch in the living room to do Gasho. Sometimes I'm still thinking about the schedule of the day. And from the time my thumbs hit my chest, it's going to bring me back to my body because the Reiki is flowing, even though I have not begun to say anything as yet. So the ability to receive is you receiving the fact that, or a reminder that you are a divine being. And while you are able to do tasks for so many other people, you need to be able, especially as we get older, life is asking you to treat yourself differently. It is asking you to be more loving and kind to yourself because that's what we give out. We give out a lot of love to others. But to receive love, especially if I have to receive from myself, was a very difficult task. So for me, it's loving thoughts, it's loving words to myself. And even when I'm going through a difficult time, I still try to send my body loving thoughts, because um I'm 47 now. And within the past 2 years, I would say, life blesses you with different things. And sometimes we don't see it as a blessing. So, for example, I went for a checkup and I'm still having all the abdominal pain at times, and the menstrual cycle is changing. And it brings a lot of difficulty to me. So, I went for ultrasound. And of course, I still have the ovarian cyst that's there on both sides. And they discovered a fibroid. So now I'm wondering, why are all these lovely blessings coming my way that I don't understand why they are there? So sometimes in receiving, it is you just loving the body that you have, even though you don't understand it. That is also part of receiving to me. So sometimes when I'm in pain, and the thing is, Reiki is such a blessing because I sit and send myself peace all the time. Sometimes I really wonder, if I did not have Reiki, what level of pain would I be in? Because I don't know how I would have handled, the really painful days where nothing works. Because sometimes I just lay on the couch and I put my hands on myself. I don't need to say anything except Reiki on. And Reiki flows, I don't need to worry about hand positions. I don't need to worry about, do my feet need to be on the floor? I just lay there. Sometimes I I've had 2 years ago, I was in such severe pain. I could not sit to do Gashu meditation. I did my Gashu meditation lying down. But it still brought so much of peace. So part of receiving is also bringing peace to whatever life has presented. So for me, receiving is also the days when the hormones are, doing whatever they do best, and I don't understand them. I talked to my body and I said, "Oh, you are very aggressive today." I said, "I don't understand what's happening there." I said, "But I would really like to help you feel some peace today." And that's what I do. I send my ovaries peace. I send the fibroids love. I send, if I have a migraine, I send the symbols, and I send symbols everywhere as well. And that's also a good tool. Sometimes when you're going through something stressful, you can't think. You can just say the symbol, picture the symbol, any part of your body, any part of your aura, any situation at all. And even that will allow us to receive that no matter what we are going through, we are always divinely supported and protected at all times. And that has been a theme for me over the past few years. And that is part of what receiving is about. So the word receiving is so simple, but yet it's so many ways that it has so much more meaning in it to me when it comes to receiving, because you are going to receive so much of protection and love from the universe to show you that exactly what is meant for you, you don't need to worry about it. Everything is going to go smoothly. Everything with you, with your family members, even if you have to take a journey on the road, there's a thunderstorm, and you use Reiki to bring you peace. What you're going to receive, you're going to realize you are protected. You're going to realize you are loved. You're going to realize that everything has perfect timing, even though sometimes we can't see it at the point in time. It is truly, truly perfect. And sometimes it makes me so emotional, Colleen, sometimes when I sit and I look at everything that has happened. Sometimes at the point in time, I don't like what's happening. I don't like the emotion that I feel. I don't like, seeing family members in distress or myself in distress. But I really do see that the timing and the way everything is being played out, it's truly perfect. It is truly, truly perfect. And life is asking you just to receive the preciousness and sacredness of your own life, because it's pretty short, for you and your family members. And of course, it is quite a private and sacred thing to realize the gift that you have, and the gift is life. And the gift is to share love, but to also give love to yourself and realize that you are an amazing person regardless of X, Y, and Z. You can still have peace, although you have this ailment, this condition, this, we're always trying to feel as if we lack, or, we're not in a good place. Even though we have justification and we can prove we're not in a good place, there are so many other things that we can say and that we can see that shows us we are actually in the perfect place. This is actually the perfect thing that has happened to me right now. So now I can try and create more peace. I can create more love. I can write more, inspire more. So yeah, receiving it's a small word with huge meaning for me.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing I'm really curious about is you talk about Reiki in Trinidad, Tobago, the Caribbean. Um, and so can you share about that and what you mean by it, sharing it there, that
Yeah.
particular
Yeah,
location?
that's fine. So when I talk about Reiki in the Caribbean, so for me, even when I was first attuned to Reiki, it still was pretty new. I didn't know any practitioners at all, other than the teacher that I had and the person that I went to the Reiki session for. Um, there's no association that exists here. In fact, that was one of the things that I started to look for. I started to look for local Reiki groups. I started to look for a local association, and I found a very old website that seemed to not exist anymore. There was no contact information, there was no active membership, and even though I found one or two Reiki practitioners, they are very, they operated just out of a yoga studio. They may have operated out of a spa, but there's no local community, which I found was quite lacking. So I had to partner with a lot of, you know, um, online find groups and community and support. So part of practicing in the Caribbean for me was that I felt initially very isolated, right? That was one aspect of it. So it kind of pushed me to challenge myself with respect to where do I find community? Where do I find other Reiki practitioners to learn and grow? And it will be a mutual growing and learning, as you know. And part of why I felt challenged in the Caribbean as well is because, and I think I realized this over time, that there are parts in the world where other practitioners have expressed they have the same difficulty, is that from time to time there are now the island as well as the Caribbean is a very highly religious country. So they're deep rooted in religion. They are also deep rooted with cultural beliefs, superstition, based on the history of the island. So what made it like a little obstacle and challenge for me was people not understanding what Reiki was. And somehow, once it couldn't fit into what they viewed what religion was, um, they couldn't seem to integrate it at all. With respect to what does it do, what type of modality it is. So that is currently I would say it started off as an ongoing challenge. And what I've been trying to do thus far is do more Reiki education and awareness. Because I think once people can read about it more, see about it more, get chance to ask questions, then they begin to be more comfortable about it. And Trinidad lacks a lot of that. There are no places for people to, you know, direct Reiki questions to. Even when you look online, it's very limited. So I do a lot of whatever platform that I'm on. I try to do two things. So while I talk about Reiki, I still talk about benefits of meditation. I talk about today, I posted something on gratitude, gratitude rituals, benefits of gratitude. And, I do different things to, let's say, bring in curious people to ask questions about what is this modality about. Now, sometimes I meet an obstacle because I've had people tell me in the past that, um, well, this is from Japan, so why should we, why should, why should we, give it any attention? Because that wouldn't relate to us. It will only relate to people in Japan. But of course, it comes like any practice, whether it's, Qigong or anything like that. It's a practice that's unfamiliar to people. But of course, with education and awareness and with a chance to people to get to ask their questions, and people begin to get more comfortable about it. So the religion was one little barrier that I had. And there's something else that kept coming up that at first, Colleen, it made me feel a little uncomfortable because what actually started to come up is when we said, like, if I say Reiki is used for stress reduction or peace promotion, and it's very healing. It's a very healing energy. It brings you a lot of peace. People have different definitions of what healing is. So, and that I think was a very big obstacle for me. So, what I had at one point in time, and Colleen, I totally understood where people were coming from. So, for example, let's take me with the fibroids and the cysts. If I go to someone and they are saying they can heal me, maybe my expectation is that this is going to disappear, that my fibers will shrink, my cyst will, not give me any problems anymore. I don't need surgery. So what was happening, Colleen? A lot of people were calling concerning Reiki, but they were asking very direct questions. So I had one lady came for a Reiki session, and it was virtual. And she was asking her questions, and she was very religious as well. So we had that discussion about religion. And then finally she said to me, she said, I'm not too sure if Reiki is healing for me. So I said, well, I thought you said you felt a lot of peace. She said, I did. She said, but I still have this problem in my spine. So I said, and then before I could finish, she said, I wanted you to tell me that Reiki will heal me so much that I don't need any surgery. And so that was the expectation. She said, the doctors are saying that I need surgery. And although I am trying to explain that Reiki can bring peace to you to go through the surgery, because if that's what you really need with respect to your mobility, or that's what the doctors are saying, I cannot fix you know what I mean? I cannot physically put
Yeah.
your spine in place. And then I had a second person just this year, same situation, outcome meaning he needed a surgery, but he has a hernia. He wants the hernia removed without surgery.
Mm.
Now I felt, of course, I'm offering peace. I'm offering healing with respect to peace in whatever expression or interpretation. But what I realize is people who under medical distress is that they want that problem fully removed. That is their definition of healing. So I was trying to explain what what my definition of healing is, because I am also living with something that I wish I could magically disappear, but no, this is a part of me, and it's a part of my life journey with making peace with whatever, has presented itself at this point in time in my life. So I was trying to explain what healing is, and someone cut me across and they said, we don't want that. We just want this problem removed. Which I think is what we all want. We all want a quick fix.
Right. Yeah.
We
Like
want
replace
the,
this part, like an automobile or something. Yeah.
yeah, correct. Which is, I mean, and nothing is wrong with that, because I have been there and
Yes.
we've all been there. And it
Yes.
doesn't have to be a physical condition. It could be a life situation that presents itself. And we just want to skip this chapter and move on. Move on to life. Let's just move on to how we were before. So I've met some people that those two questions it's very difficult for me to explain what healing is. Um, but they do acknowledge that Reiki brings peace, but they are still, now the expectation is that this physical ailment will be removed magically by Reiki. And I can't do that. And in fact, to tell you, Colleen, I went to my mom and I always share these stories with her. I told her, I said, I have some people reaching out, for Reiki, and I said, I don't think I can meet their expectation. I'm not going to promise. Of course, I'm not going to promise anybody anything like that. I said, I offer peace and calm with where they need to be. And I told my mom, Colleen, I told my mom, I said, imagine if I had that power, I said, I would be God. I mean, I would be.
Right.
And she laughed. She said, "Yeah, wouldn't we all be if we had that kind of power?" And she said, when people in distress, they're in true distress, they're
Yes.
in true fear, they're in true pain, and we've all been there, that they really do want the problem removed. But I can assure you, Reiki, and it's such a kind, compassionate modality that you can bring peace to those situations. It is possible to have a hernia and be peaceful and have that spot, have peace and love. And the only reason I can say it is because that's what I do with my fibroids and my cyst. I send them love all the time. And to tell you the truth, sometimes I have really peaceful months, really peaceful. And in fact, sometimes I'm like, oh wow, you're really peaceful this month. Thank you so much. And other times when I'm in pain, I'm like, oh, you are very aggressive. I said, okay, I not too sure what's happening. I don't know why it's coming up, but let me just be still. Let me just try and do some, moving meditation. And, sometimes why I also like the Gasho meditation and especially the moving meditation is because the moving meditation actually shows you when you are not moving calmly. So when I started, some days when I start moving meditation, I realize I'm moving very quickly because I'm moving at the speed of my thoughts, or I'm moving at how intense my emotion is at the point in time. So if I'm feeling very scattered and I stand to do that holy fire moving meditation, I would realize even if the first round is very fast, I realize the second round, I'm going to slow it down and bring my body back to the present. And that's one of the beauty of Reiki as well. It brings you back to the present moment, what your physical body is doing, where your 2 feet are. So in spite of all of the lists that you would like to do, all of the multitasking, and sometimes even all of the projects that I want to do, because I always want to do 1,000,001 projects, I have to stand and bring myself back to center and said at this point in time, I am only able to do A. At this point in time, my breath is only allowing me to do B. And that's how I try to live every day. And I mean, sometimes people think, when they look at social media, I don't want anybody to think that I spend hours in Gasho meditation. I spend hours doing, outside doing moving meditation. I wish I could, but it's how to integrate those practices while you go about your day. There are, and there are many times when I'm stuck in traffic. Just yesterday, I had a long drive back, and I am putting all those symbols on the steering wheel while I'm driving because I need to be calm because I'm operating a vehicle. And when your emotions are quite intense, it affects the way you drive. Right? You speed more, you take, reckless chances on the road if you're in traffic, if you're overtaken. So, of course, it brings peace and calm to everything that you do because you want to be able to be peaceful on the road because the peace that you have on the road also affects the other drivers around you as well. So you want everybody be peaceful as well. You don't want anybody be, with road rage on the highway.
I do a lot of the Reiki ideals while I'm driving,
Yeah.
just for today.
Yeah, and I don't know why I'm always gravitated towards doing symbols while
Hmm.
I'm driving. So I just, I picture them or I see them, but I'm always doing it on the steering wheel. Yeah. So it is, and when we say that you've been given a gift, the gift is really yours to discover. And it becomes you know, a, a bottomless gift. You're never at the end of the gift because the gift is always giving and always blessing you with new insights along your life. But I can tell you along the journey, no matter where you are, no matter how busy you are, you just stop and acknowledge at that point in time the divine breath or intelligence that is flowing through you. You will view that moment very differently, and the next moment very differently, and so it goes. So I always encourage people, no matter how busy, you must stop. You must find time to be still. You must find time to acknowledge what your physical body can and can't do, and what life is asking you to do. How can we serve not only yourself, but I do believe in service to others. There's nothing more rewarding than serving others and helping people who need, different types of assistance.
So also, I don't think I was aware that you joined the board of the Center for Reiki Research. So how
Yes.
is that going? Tell us about that.
So yet
Such a
again, another
phenomenal group of people.
another exciting story and
Yeah.
history as well. So in the pandemic as well, so I have to backtrack. So in the pandemic, I was telling you I have so many creative ideas. And in the pandemic, I felt stuck because I'm having these ideas and there's nowhere to go because there's lockdown. There's nowhere to physically go. We're operating from home at a really long time, and I'm not really seeing anybody to collaborate with. So I went online and I did some research. And at that point in time, um, the Center for Reiki Research was looking for a research assistant, a virtual research assistant. I think it was something like 8 hours a week, nothing much. And I said, well, I wonder if being in Trinidad and Tobago would have been a barrier because, they're based in the US and I'm not too sure if it was a physical office. And I wasn't too sure. But anyway, I said, I'm going to push my energy here and see where it goes. And that's what I do. I go with my intuition and then I see if I'm needed or, what comes out of it. So I wrote an email and the president, Dr. Natalie Dyer, replied, and she's so sweet. So Natalie replied, and I had a meeting with her, and she was talking about, well, it's just different projects that they have, and she's not too sure where I can fit or how I can help. So I told her that I'm really good at data entry and different tasks that I would be able to do. And then she was like, why did you apply to the post? And Colleen, to tell you honestly, I told Natalie, I said, I'm just following my intuition. I have no other reason other than I have so many creative ideas. I think I just want to come here and I'm following my intuition. And she laughed and she said, okay, I've been in that position as well, so we'll see where it goes. And we came off the call, and within 1 week, she sent me a lot of documents that, in fact, it had so much of information on it, Colleen. I realized that she placed me already in a position of trust, that these are our projects. How can you assist? Let me know. And it was a volunteer position, right? It's not a paid position, it's a volunteer position. She was like, there's no pressure as to the hours. You just review and let me know how you can help. So we started to work together on this paper, and it was concerning like subjective experiences of Reiki clients when they come to sessions, what they experience. And she had, I know it was over 1,000 clients because that was a joint project. And we did a paper that was published in the Journal of Complementary and Alternative Medicine in 2022. And that was the first thing that yet again, I never knew when I volunteered where I would land up, the outcome of it. And it was truly amazing. And even to date, we are still truly amazed as to how we got the paper done. Because she had that data sitting for a while and, nothing was moving and everything suddenly started to flow. So this year, the Center for Reiki Research put an ad out saying that they were looking for nominations for people to be on the board. Now, one of the requirements was you had to have knowledge of the hospital systems in the US. And, if you were based in the US, it would have been an asset. So I saw it and I didn't apply. And in a future call with Natalie said, I hope you saw the ad for the board of directors. I said, yeah, but, I don't meet the requirements. And she said, that doesn't mean you can't apply. She said, and I hope you do. So Colleen, I applied and I sent in my resume. And then she called and she said, we all voted and we said yes to you joining us, which I found was truly amazing because I'm looking at, and sometimes as practitioners, we sit and we compare where you are, your educational qualifications, the different, years of experience. We look at things in that technical format. And at one point in time, I sat and I looked at the people on the board and I said, they're all great, friendly, experienced people in their different sectors and areas, really great people to admire. And I sat and I wondered, how am I being given this really amazing opportunity to learn and grow and make a difference with Reiki in the world? So I think it was April I joined the board this year. And it's truly amazing. It is nothing I could have ever predicted. So, yeah.
Well, I love it too because when you were first talking about Natalie asking you, what made you apply and where else except something, even a scientific community like the Center for Reiki Research, and you say, I was just following my intuition. And they're like, that's the best answer.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's my honest answer. I
Yes.
don't have any, grand mission. I don't have any project proposal. I had nothing except energy that was saying, just try it, just apply, just do it, just reach out, send the email. Don't overthink it. Just do it. And that's what I did. So I had no other honest reason than to say I was really following my intuition. And a lot of the ideas for articles and a lot of the people that I work with, it's intuition.
Yes.
I had an idea and something says, don't overthink it, just do it. Just do it. Even though I am fearful as to if it's the correct thing to do, am I needed here? What will be the outcome? I can't see the outcome, but I move with a particular energy. And sometimes, amazing things happen. And I don't want everybody, people to think that every intuition leads to something amazing.
Right.
Because I've had great feelings, in working with different types of collaborations. And then I realized that that is not where I'm meant to be. So sometimes your intuition also guides you with things you need to let go of. Because even for me, I've tried to partner with a couple people locally, and I'm going with a great energy because that's me and Reiki and, what I want to accomplish and help people. So if I think I'm going to help people, I'm coming with all my kind and loving energy and creative ideas because the end result is I want to help people. And then the intuition is showing me that, okay, let's give it a try. Let's see where it goes. And then I realize that, oh, I don't think this is where I need to be. I don't like the dynamics of what I'm seeing here. I don't think I want to be, in this type of dynamic that's happening here. I don't think it's peaceful or helpful to me. Because sometimes when we want to do a collaboration, we have all good intention, but then we are not really reaching the people we want to reach. And that's something I encountered that was really strange. So what was strange was I had to pull back from two organizations this year. And I was really excited about it because, I think my dream is to really share and teach people what I know locally. And let the local population benefit, let the local population be more peaceful, be more kind, be more loving, and, embrace, Reiki as a modality. So even though I was, eagerly accepted, people were excited to invite me to different collaborations. What I found was happening with the dynamic was that, I mean, there's so many politics happening in different spaces. I found a lot of time was spent on politics as to who should be in charge. And, I should be in charge and let us vote for this person in charge. But every month can't be a discussion as to who is in charge or what we're doing, because where are the people we're supposed to help, because I'm always focused on helping. So after a long time I had to, and it was a very hard decision for me to make, because I really found it was a wide network where I could have reached so many people. But unfortunately, whatever dynamic was taking place there, I was also being guided to say, listen, the intention is there. We know the intention, but this is not the place for you. So we need to move to the next place. And sometimes, it is hard to move, because I think all Reiki practitioners and teachers have the intention of helping. We have the intention of giving love to those who need it. But then we also need to listen to when we need to move.
Yes.
We need to move because there are other people that really need us. And this is not where we're meant to be. So along this year, 2024, there were two groups that unfortunately, and it did hurt. It hurt for me to actually tell them that I don't think this is meant for me. And even my decision, they could not understand, because they kept telling me, you are such a perfect fit for here. And I know I'm a perfect fit. And for whatever reason, I don't understand the dynamic that I saw, but I really did feel that I'm not meant to be here. I'm meant to be somewhere else. So I had to, decline and move
Well,
on to, yeah,
maybe there was also another person who is actually a better fit for that position.
correct, correct.
So it goes more than one way.
Yeah,
That is such a good point to talk about. We were talking before we started the recording about living in so many possibilities and opportunities and how to decide which ones and how to. And I think that it's important for people to also hear that there are often times that we do have to backtrack from a particular path that we follow. And we do have to make new decisions and discernment about, what exactly our choices are. So, well, tell us about your practices now. What is it that you're offering? What kind of practices are you doing? Where
right.
are you now?
So, yeah, so where I'm now is that, well, the majority, almost all of my practice is online. I'm still very much in the virtual world.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I offer the individual one-to-one Reiki healing sessions online. And that could be the standard Reiki journey or experience. And one of the things that I incorporated in 2024 was Reiki drumming, which is
Mhm.
really powerful and intense type of experience. So I do offer Reiki healing sessions as well as Reiki classes, beginner drumming classes. And I do offer Reiki level 1 and 2, as well as, the full line of the Usui, um, Holy Fire 3, World Peace Reiki Master, as well as Karuna. But when it comes to particular dates, I have not set my 2025 calendars yet, so I'm unable to give you the dates, but I do hope that if there's anybody who's interested or they feel, that something resonates with them, they can always reach out to me and I can guide them with respect to whether it's a session or whether they want to actually join a class, when is the next class. And, I also encourage what I've had as well, that I am in the planning stages of, Colleen. I realize a lot of young Reiki practitioners are reaching out for help.
Yes.
They have a lot of questions. They need a lot of support along their journey. So Reiki mentorship is one of the things that I am still in the planning stages of, because I had a few people reach out to me, and that's one of the things I want to encourage people who are now starting their Reiki journey, is that just ask. Just
Yeah.
ask for help. There's no judgment in asking for help at any point in time, in saying that you're having a difficult time. What technique do I do? How do I teach this part of the class? There's no shame in asking for help. So I always love when people reach out to ask something, right? So when it comes to either the healing sessions or the classes, um, if people are interested, they can reach out to me or follow on the social media for when I post up the dates when I set them.
Yes, well, great. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast, your own podcast?
I have thought about it, yes.
Yeah. Because that's how I started this one. Originally, it was called Reiki Chat, and I started it because people would ask so many questions, and I thought, well, I may as well answer them all in one group. And of course, that was before there was really any easy way to do all of it. And I used to use free conference call, but it wasn't as easy to record. And now, of course, there's syndication and things like that that make it easy to do. But that was the original, well, and is still the reason behind it, is to share resources and information. I think people would love to have you have your own podcast.
Yeah, that it's one of my many creative ideas.
I always
I
say
just
it's on the list.
it's on the list. It's
It's
just
on the
the
list.
order. Yeah, the order of the list. It's up to the universe, but I've thought about that so many times. So many times. I'm like, I think I don't know when it would happen, but it's on the list.
Well, same thing. If you have questions about it when you get going, let us know, because we've been doing it a while now. And probably one of the main things I would say that might make it easier to start is we don't do any editing. And so I think that time, or that is a lot of what even stops people.
Yeah.
We just, unless there's like really a main reason to do editing, but we just let it run in real life Reiki, and whatever is going on during the podcast, we just let it go on. Yesterday I had one where I was right in the middle of a meditation and the leaf blower comes and it's like 10 feet away from me. And so I'm just putting it all on mute for a while. And so, but anyway, I just know you have such a gift for sharing and the way that you do. And how about your writing? Is there a way for people to find your articles? And
Yes. So on my website, so if they research the website or they click on the link that I think you're providing them the link as
Mhm.
well. I have a section called free resources. So I try to keep the page updated. So they should have a lot of articles there, as well as videos and past interviews I've done with different people. So the free resources page is really detailed. And of course, if there's something on the social media or the Instagram that you see that I've written on that I don't have, then you can feel free to just message, send an email, and I would gladly send it to you or ask you, answer any question that you have.
And is that how people find you for things like sessions and
They
because
do.
it's your
Yeah.
virtual,
Yes,
you can go
virtually.
to
Yeah.
your website?
Yeah. A lot of people reach me on Instagram
Mm,
as
okay.
well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, gosh, is there anything else you want to share before we finish up?
Gosh, there's so much to share
There's so
though.
much, right? It's like, well, we could just keep going for hours.
I think part of why I like Reiki and why I like it's always nice to talk to other Reiki practitioners as well, which is why I always encourage people to reach out to talk, to join a community, and there's no judgment on what your Reiki journey should look like. So 7 years ago when I was first attuned to Reiki, what I didn't know was I met a couple people along the way who were also Reiki level 1 or 2, but they were attuned to Reiki, but they never practiced Reiki after. So, which I found was interesting. So when I asked them, they were like, "You believe in Reiki? I don't think that does anything." So I stopped practicing, which I found was interesting. So sometimes, and then, of course, we have people who teach. We have people who do animal Reiki only. Then we have people who focus on human Reiki classes and teaching different things, but there's no judgment or boundary as to where you belong. And I think practitioners need to have an open mind with where they need to fit. So sometimes even in communities that I belong to, people are asking, I'm struggling with my physical practice. I'm not getting enough clients. I'm trying to get my distance Reiki sessions from home going. People are not interested. People have different challenges along the way. But what I'm saying to people is envision a world where Reiki belongs everywhere. And that's the kind of vision we need to have. Reiki belongs everywhere. So you picture any type of organization, any type of institution. Reiki can belong in a school. Reiki can belong in a sports clinic. Reiki can belong in, anywhere. Because people look not just for Reiki, but they look for your knowledge and expertise. So in fact, this year, one of the new connections that I have on social media is a person who runs a spa. So this Reiki practitioner has a spa. Her page is all about facials and beauty products, and she has Reiki infused facials, which is the coolest thing.
Right? It's the best.
Yeah, correct. So even though we want to, quote unquote, sell Reiki, we want to offer Reiki. I always tell people, whatever else you are passionate about, Reiki can flow to that. I've seen people who do just photography, Reiki practitioners that their specialty is just photography. They don't teach, but all of their photos are infused with some kind of magic. So it has to be Reiki. Their photography is amazing. We have people who do essential oils. They're Reiki infused. We have people who are actually, they still have corporate jobs. They do psychotherapy. They do traditional counseling, but they infuse whatever knowledge that they have from Reiki in order to practice peace, compassion, mindfulness, gratitude. That's the knowledge that you pass along no matter wherever you are. So I want people to envision a world with you can fit everywhere. And if we belong everywhere, then ask yourself, or you keep asking the universe. Sometimes we try to figure out where we need to be. And that's what I used to do. I used to say, I don't know how to get to this place. You need to keep asking the universe to guide you, guide me to exactly where I need to be. When you sit in Reiki and whatever practice that you have, and you want to serve others, You have to be able to say, guide me but wherever I need to go, whatever I need to do, whoever I need to serve, slowly guide me. And just have no expectation because the universe is going to carry you on a grand adventure.
Oh, then moving into that receiving.
Correct.
So you put the question out, the invitation for the guidance. So then making sure you're there to receive as well.
Yes, and you will receive because the universe will answer you.
Yeah.
And I remember even when I did when I did the interview with Reiki Rays and I spoke on vision boards, I was doing a lot of vision boards. And of course I was talking to the host because she always thought about doing it, but she never did. And I said part of the magic of the vision board is even though we are asking for something, sometimes I look at the board and I said, whichever order or however you think I need to get here, just surprise me. Because you come to the board or you sit in a Reiki session. So I would sit and do Reiki on myself and then send Reiki to the vision board or place my hand on the vision board and beam it Reiki. And what I'm really asking is that wherever I need to be, you work it out for me. Let Reiki guide me with wherever I need to be. And then you leave you leave a lot of room for the universe to send you an answer. So we cannot picture all of the steps needed to get to whatever goal that we want, but the universe will surely guide you and give you different things that you need so that you can be fully prepared for what's coming. Because I can tell you, I've had some things on my vision board, and really, truly, if I got it then, I would not have been prepared for it. But I can tell you all the things along the way. Maybe I didn't want to do it because I want my goal now. I want this goal now. I want to be able to serve and help people now.
Right, by tomorrow.
Yeah, by tomorrow. But what I realize the universe is guiding me in a way when I am in front of exactly where I need to be, I'm going to be fully prepared. And I want people to view themselves as always being fully prepared. We are fully prepared for exactly where we need to be right now. Fully prepared. And you keep allowing that moment of coming back to center. You sit, you practice, come back to center, love and appreciate the journey that you have. And I tell you, gratitude is a magic tool that shifts a lot of things in really, really mysterious ways. And if you just sit and practice and just let go of all expectations, the universe will guide you miraculously and you will begin to see it for yourself. So I
Well,
hope
thank
people
you. Those
have,
are such good reminders because I think sometimes that's the hardest thing to do is to let go of control
yeah.
and
And even
let
for me,
everything
sometimes
go.
I sit and even for me, with whatever situation presents itself, Colleen, I tell myself, I do want this outcome, but you know what? No expectations. Let's just Reiki flow to wherever I need to be. Wherever I need to be, whatever I need to do. And sometimes Reiki doesn't want us to do anything. We don't need to do anything, to say that we are accomplishing this project, that we're doing this. There are many times where Reiki just wants me to do nothing. Just rest.
Yeah.
Just rest. Just, take a time out. Just go and watch a movie. Just relax. Just do nothing. Just go and clean out the closet. Go. Yeah, and that's all
It
part
is
of
true.
it.
Well, sometimes that is like what you need the most is just that organization.
Correct. Correct. And it's guiding you because that's exactly what you need at that point in time. You need that, and that is part of your journey as well, because that's all what you need to do based on what your life is presenting at the point in time.
Well, gosh, thank you so much. We could keep talking forever, I can tell. Um, so I want to remind everybody how to find you. Kimmy, but do you go by Akleema more professionally or Kimmy?
I think people prefer Kimmy. So I do tell, well, they do know my name is Akleema, but I think because of, you know, the relationship that I have with people, everybody automatically just says Kimmy.
Okay, so Kimmy Ali, and her website is the reikilighthouse.com, and also all social media. And of course, we'll put it in the show notes, but for those of you that are listening and not looking at things online, the reikilighthouse.com. Kimmy, thank you so much. Robin and I are ReikiLifestyle.com. Everything for us is there. And I will say just real quickly, we do have our registration open for our Next Step Reiki training and 12 Heavens. Explore the 12 Heavens and meet your spirit guides starting in January. So you can go to ReikiLifestyle.com and find out more information about those courses. And oh, I should probably mention too that I'm teaching a 7-day Karuna Reiki class with William Rand in Hana, Hawaii, the end of February. And you can find that information too. All right. Well, again, Kimmy, thank you so much. What a great conversation and the resources and information you share. You're just a really big blessing in
Thank you. Thank you
in
so
our
much for
Reiki worldwide Reiki community.
Yes, it is, and it's an amazing community that I really hope people, you know, reach out and, we all inspire each other. The more we participate, and Reiki is something that needs a lot more community. And I just want to say thank you so much. I have so much love and gratitude to be able to have this conversation with you and to catch up. And I hope, people enjoy our conversation whenever they tune in.
Absolutely. All right. And for all the listeners, thank you. And we'll be in touch soon.